Hi, this is Leonard Smith from Sense Memory, and today is part 3 of different countries, what I would wear. And I am doing Great Britain, United Kingdom, England, if you will. So, as I said before, I'm not going to be doing fragrances that are from England or from any of the countries that I've chosen. I'm doing fragrances that I feel would work well in that environment, in the air of that country, in the style of that country. So let's begin. The first fragrance I've chosen is from Austria, and it was created in the 1920s, and the perfumers are Vincent Robert and Francois Coty, and it's Nice 10. And this fragrance is basically a leather fragrance, and it's a gorgeous throwback to that wonderful time in the 20s when there was such elegance and yet abandon in the cultures of England and the United States, and especially Germany and Austria. It is very, very striking. Some might say sharp, but it has this great leather. There's what stands out to me most is the leather and the castoreum, and there's a geranium too that's beautiful. This was a favorite fragrance of Marlene Dietrich and James Dean. It's a beautiful fragrance, so I think this would go very well in England. The next fragrance is from the United States. It was created in 2018, the perfumers Edouard Flechier, and it's from Aramis and it's Tobacco Reserve. This is really a gorgeous fragrance, and also I think would work very well in the English countryside. The tobacco is not anything like a cigarette. Sometimes people think, oh, it's tobacco, it's burning cigarettes or ashtray. No. This is the tobacco leaf. It is rich and slightly sweet. It has a great, great presence and very gentlemanly, very classic, a beautiful fragrance. I'm so glad that Aramis made this fragrance because it's a move towards refined elegance. The next fragrance is from France. It's from 1998. The nose behind it is Annick Menardo, and it is a beautiful fragrance from Boucheron Jaipur Homme. This is spicy and exotic, and definitely is a gives a feeling of the British Raj, fragrances that not necessarily the British would wear in India, but perhaps what the Indians in the Maharaja and Maharani's courts would be wearing. It is aromatic, it is spicy, it is rich and elegant, and I think would go quite well in a formal setting in London or in Bath. So there you have this one. Wonderful. Jaipur by Boucheron. The next fragrance we're going to be exploring is also staying on the theme of India, and this is from the wonderful house of Nila Vermeer in Paris. And the fragrance, I believe, was created by Bertrand Duchefort because he did the original Mohair, and this is Mohair Extrait. And this one is woody and powdery and exquisite in its deep, deep, almost hypnotic spell that it creates. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. It is just beautiful. I really admire Nila's work and Bertrand Duchefort. Their collaboration has created some wonderful fragrances, including Bombay Bling, which is wonderful and fun. But this one is really, really special. I think this would go well in a formal situation in England. I really, really love this fragrance. It has notes of rose and sandalwood and oud and leather. It really is spectacular. The next fragrance is from 2007, and it's a beautiful fragrance by Tom Ford, and it's Tom Ford Extreme. This is a great, elegant fragrance for men. Also, it worked very well for women. It's really a very bold patchouli. Patchouli and fig and cedar and lemon. It's so beautiful. I have to put some on. This is just so sophisticated. I can just see riding around London in a limousine on your way to Duke's or some wonderful place like the British Museum. It's gorgeous. It would also work at the Globe Theatre. The next fragrance is continuing in the theme of warm and earthy. It's a rediscovery of mine from 1985 that I've just fallen in love with and I have to do a full review on. And this is the original Perry Ellis Cologne for Men. Look at that bottle. It is so elegant and sophisticated and whimsical even in a way, but I mean, that's just the bottle. So it is so many notes in it. It has oak moss and pimento and incense and leather, and it just goes on and on and on. Well, let's open it up and try it on. Now this is a splash bottle, so I have to be careful. There we go. Oh, this is chic. This is, it really needs to be rediscovered. A beautiful, beautiful fragrance that speaks to me a lot. I'm going to jump away from England for a moment, but it speaks to me a lot of the Upper East Side of Manhattan. And so I suppose it would work very well in the Belgravia area of London. It's perfect. It really is beautiful. So there you have this beautiful Perry Ellis Cologne for Men. The next fragrance is from France, and it is the last fragrance that was created during Coco Chanel's life. It's a beautiful Chanel number 19. This is a green fragrance, earthy but green. This to me is perfect for the countryside in England in the spring and the summer, because it smells to me so much of fresh grass, green new plants, the English spring just exploding, and pushing away the sadness and darkness of winter, and spring rains and beautiful, beautiful gardens. It's just a gorgeous fragrance. And this would be beautiful in England. It's just a magnificent fragrance. The next fragrance is from 1947. It was created by a naval officer by the name of John Webb, and it was inspired by his time he spent in the Virgin Islands. And this is, of course, St. John's Bay rum. This is a beautiful fragrance. It's it's a splash. So we have to do this. It is in competition with 4711 for a morning splash for me. It is so refreshing. It's eucalyptus and bay leaves, cinnamon and clove, and a little bit of musk. It gives it a freshness. It is a gorgeous fragrance. This would be just beautiful at Brighton or Dover, at the beach, somewhere in maybe the Cornish coast or along the wild, rugged coast of Wales. This is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Great morning splash. The next fragrance is one I need to spend more time with because it's so beautiful, and I keep forgetting that I have it, which is a shame because it is just beautiful. It's the nose behind it is Nathalie Festjauer, and it is from Cartier, from Paris, and it's Must Cartier. Look at that bottle, it's beautiful. This is subtle and sophisticated and elevated. It's, well, let's just spray it and I'll talk about it. Cinnamon and ginger, anise, vanilla, as sandalwood. It is very soothing and almost dreamlike. It's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. This would be a perfect fragrance in the halls of Hogwarts because it's magical. Revelio. So I really love this one. I need to do a full review on it and just get to wear it more and more often. But it's great, and it really would work well in England. The last fragrance I would take to England would be a fragrance that puts me in mind of English expats in Italy, like, for instance, in the films Tea with Mussolini or Room with a View. This is a beautiful fragrance by Aramis called Tuscany Poromo, and it's one of my favorites from the Aramis line. Let's give it a little spray here. Leather, again, you know how I love leather. Lemon, bergamot, a little bit of lavender, caraway, tarragon, and beautiful, beautiful basil. I love the smell of basil. I mean, when I'm cooking with fresh basil, I would just put a little on my wrist. I just rub the leaves right onto my wrist. It's a wonderful, wonderful sensation and olfactory treat, both in cooking and in perfume and fragrance. It would work beautifully in England, or if you're in England boarding a plane to go to Italy, it would be perfect. So there you have my take on fragrances I would wear in Great Britain. The next fragrance I think will be France, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and this is Lanier Smith from Sis Memory saying, remember, wear what you love and not what they say you should like. Cheers. The next country,